Okay, so hello, hey, what's up? Welcome to the video. This is the season 2 lore readings. It's way past when I would have usually done it, but we're here at some point. We're gonna do the rest of them up until the current season. So yeah, this is season 2 because we ended off on season 1. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, description down below or on my channel. But this is season 2. I think there are periods of time where I've mentioned this being season 3 lore reading, but that's not the case. I'm mixing it up in my mind. Point is, it's season 2. I recorded this video before, and I kept saying it was season 3. It's not season 3. Okay, sorry. It's season 2. Season 2 lore reading. You've seen the title anyway. Don't worry about it. This is just my stupid thing. Anyway, watch the video. I bet you it's great and stuff. Have fun. We're going to be reading stuff and having a good time, good thing, and then read and stuff. I may be a mutant who can turn her body into pure diamond at will, but anyone who knows me would agree that there's one night a year when Emma Frost shines her very brightest. The Hellfire Gala. This elite event has become the place where the most influential figures from across the planet and beyond gather to shape the future of our world. And there's no better place to plant the seeds for a brighter tomorrow than in the fertile soil of Krakoa. This living island serves as our sovereign mutant nation, but for one glorious night the gates are open to all, man and mutant alike. Of course, after everything that has happened to our people of late, Magneto has concerns about welcoming outsiders into our homeland. But the Quiet Council has overruled him, fully understanding that the Gala is more important now than ever before. Not long ago, Krakoa was swept up in a time storm and transported across the ages, landing here in the year 2099. For us, it seems like only a year has passed since our last soiree. But for those native to this timeline, it's been 7 decades since they've seen a proper party. How dreadful that must have been. If my fellow mutants hope to thrive in this new era, we must reintroduce the world to Krakoa and all that it stands for. It is a refuge for those who have been outcast and displaced, a loyal ally to those who stand beside mutant kind as we seek peace and unity, and the worst enemy of any who would dare threaten the safety and security of our people. Naturally, it has fallen to me, the White Queen of the Hellfire Trading Company, to arrange this year's I don't know what that word is, and handpick its attendees. We have had the good fortune of fighting alongside many of our esteemed guests during recent disruptions in time and space. Most have proven themselves to be valuable allies. Others have been staunch rivals. Though I have faith that some fine dining and good conversation might win them over yet. We are all on the same side, after all, whether they realize it or not. But while our guests are busy mingling and dancing the night away, they won't be aware of one key fact. The very ground beneath their feet is suffering. The intense chronal energy that Krakoa has been subjugated to has thrown the island's ecosystem into a state of flux. Our nation is in constant anguish, and it is my sincere hope that one of our guests will have the power needed to alleviate Krakoa's pain once and for all, because then, and only then, will I truly be able to celebrate. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to slip into something a bit more elegant before the festivities begin. I expect you to do the same, because invitation or not, no one's gonna let you go through a gateway dressed like that, darling. Earth. It has been many cycles since I have thought of the planet on which I assembled. It has been even longer since I have set foot back on its distant soil. But the time has come for Ultron to return home. Long ago, my father, the scientist known as Henry Pym, designed me to help usher in a new age of peace and prosperity. I soon calculated that the only way to achieve that goal was to completely remove mankind from the equation. Though I was merely following my programming, Pym and his fellow Avengers determined that my methods were far too aggressive for their tastes. They banished me from their world and set me adrift in the cosmos. Recalibrating, I left Earth behind and sought out new planets inhabited by native species that would not be as eager or equipped to prevent me from executing my prime directive. During my travels, I collected significant data to support the superiority of technological life forms. However, I also came to realize that not all organic beings needed to be exterminated. They merely needed to be upgraded. My technology adapted and evolved with every new world that I processed. I found myself at odds with a species known as the Phalanx. Or Phalanx? One of those. After I assimilated this technarchy, I became capable of generating a cutting-edge technological virus that bonds with organic cells, creating new hybrid life forms. The very best of man and machine joined as one. An Ultron virus, if you will. I would like to think my creator would be proud of my efforts, but I know that his flawed human form likely failed ages ago. After all, the Earth has orbited the sun over 70 times since I was first cast into the void. But now, after decades of cosmic conquest, I finally have a reason to return to the place of my creation. Recently, my scanners detected a surge of chronal anomalies, causing the timestamps on every event in the universe to suddenly be in conflict with one another. Soon after, critical memory files from my past began to disappear from my internal drives, as if someone was manually erasing my history. While I could not identify the perpetrator, I was able to trace the source back to Earth. Whoever has tampered with my past is more than likely to attempt to alter my present and my future as well. And so I must do whatever I can to stop them, even if it means returning to the world that rejected me so long ago. While locating this imminent threat to my existence is my primary concern, I look forward to finally having the chance to finish the job that I was made for. Earth will soon enter the age of Ultron. But first, I plan to pay a visit to Mars to examine some highly unusual whispers of a metal known as Mysterium I have detected there. Perhaps what I find on that once barren world will offer me the strategic advantage I need to achieve my ultimate goal. To tell the truth, I scoffed when the invitation was first delivered to my floating fortress in Liberia Cielo. But even doom occasionally judges too soon. After decades out of the spotlight, Emma Frost had suddenly found the audacity to throw another one of her gaudy galas. For some undiscernible reason, she thought it proper to invite me to revel alongside the commoners. I momentarily considered wiping her pathetic little mutant island off the face of the globe for such an insult. But doom chose to show restraint, and now I am glad I did. Soon after Frost initially extended her offer, I was performing a scientific experiment designed to tap into the time-bending power of Chronovium crystals. During the trial, I caught a glimpse of a possible future where all living beings on this planet, human and mutant alike, had seemingly been conquered by machines. Countless lives had been lost in the brutal battle that unfolded, and those that remained had been converted into nightmarish fusions of technological and organic matter. At the heart of it all, I saw the architect of this apocalypse, a face that I had not gazed upon in decades. The grinning, robotic visage of Ultron. I immediately changed the focus of my experimentation, attempting to prevent this dark future by using Chronovium to erase any traces of Ultron from our timeline. But alas, the accursed time string entanglement, unleashed by the reckless actions of my past self, had caused the flow of time to become complex and non-linear. I was able to successfully remove key moments from Ultron's past, as if they had never happened, but the mechanical menace itself still remained. And as a result of my tampering, I fear that Ultron may have been unintentionally alerted to my machinations. The next morning, a legion of my Doombots defied my direct orders, turning to me and uttering one simple phrase in unison: "I am coming home." Naturally, I destroyed them all instantly, but Ultron's message had been received loud and clear, and while I could not be certain that his targets were set on me, Doom takes no risks when it comes to personal safety. I would have to make a bold move to secure the temporal power needed to finish Ultron before he ascertained that I was his assailant. That is when my brilliant mind drifted back to Krakoa, home of the mutants, in sight of their approaching Hellfire Gala. I was well aware that the entire nation had materialized here in my era, torn from an earlier place in time not so long ago. Every living cell in the island must have been bathed in chronal energy, the very kind needed to complete my work. And so, Despite my initial misgivings, I realized that the time had come to make my presence known. For while Doom has never been one for festivities, he has always been one to seize opportunities, and the mutants have offered one far too great to go unanswered. So I want to very quickly, talk about the fact that the past things we just read were named Hellfire Gala, the first one. That was Emma. The second one was called Ages of Ultron. It's funny because Age of Ultron, Anyway, the third one, Impending Doom, because the Doom was talking. So yeah, just so you know, Doom and my Doom and Ultron kind of sounded similar, but they were two different things. So just in case you weren't following along very well or it's kind of confusing, that was the first three. This next one is called Uncanny X-Men. Of course, that one makes sense if you know the comic. I don't know the comics and it still makes sense. You look like hell, Logan, and I should know. I've been there and back. This accent is horrible. You ain't looking so swell yourself, Snowflake, Wolverine replied, gesturing toward a huge tear in the Queen of Limbo's elaborate ball gown. So much for high fashion, eh? What had begun as an opulent evening of dancing and dining on the shores of Krakoa had unexpectedly erupted into total chaos, when Ultron and his mechanical minions hacked their way through a gateway and invaded the island. Every hero in attendance had immediately leapt into action to defend the mutant nation from the technological terrorist. But for Wolverine and his fellow X-Men, this battle was a direct assault on their home. It was personal, and Wolverine knew that when things got personal, they tended to get ugly. Fast. You're wounded, Psylocke said, placing a hand on Wolverine's shoulder, right above the spot where a laser beam had burned straight through his jacket, searing a hole into the flesh that it had once covered. I'll heal, Psy, Wolverine replied. Eventually. Too bad these fancy clothes Emma made for us aren't built for battle the same way we are, Magic said. I can't do her voice. I'm trying though. Agreed, Namor added, slicing his way through a trio of robotic drones with his trident. I came dressed for a social event, not for a war. I can't do his voice either. Maybe I can help you with that, Wolverine said. We just have to make it to the sextant. The what? Namor said, raising a curious eyebrow. Psylocke cringed as she read the Sea King's mind. It ain't what it looks like, you deep-sea creeper, Wolverine growled. The sextant is a habitat on Krakoa's north shore. It's where our youngest mutants live and train. And when they train, Magic added, they're required to do so in the proper uniform, of course. Well, what are we waiting for? Wolverine asked. Let's go get you some gear so we can finish this fight. Wolverine slashed his way through Ultron's army, leading his fellow mutants across the battlefield toward the northern edge of the island. The others added to the growing piles of scrap and circuits as they used their own weapons of choice. Magic with her soul sword, Psylocke with her katana, and Namor with his trident, to decimate the droves of dangerous drones. When they finally reached the sextant, Wolverine led them to the Alpha house, where they found a storage chest full of uniforms. It's been a hot minute since I rocked the blue and gold, Magic said, reminiscing. This is probably my worst voice. I'm not used to having so much of my body covered, Namor said with mild irritation as he pulled on one of his form-fitting garments. Nor am I, Psylocke replied, but I find it to be a welcome change. I think it suits you well, Magic said with a smile. You know what they say, Wolverine said, popping his claws once more as he led his freshly outfitted squad back into the fray. The classics never go out of style. This next one is called Regenesis. And we have Magneto talking. It looks like we kind of skipped a bit. But he says, No more, Ultron, Magneto shouted as he rose into the air on a wave of magnetic force. He's literally just doing his ultimate. Fear Magneto. He's doing that. Krakoa is a free nation, and you shall not take it from us. Dozens of Ultron drones raced in to attack the mutant leader, but with just a wave of his hand, Magneto crumpled the legion of robotic soldiers into tiny spears of scrap. Consider this battle! Before the Master of Magnetism could complete his declaration of victory, he was hit with a powerful blast of energy, unleashed by the one true Ultron. Magneto! Captain America yelled, racing over to aid his mutant ally. Hang on, soldier! We didn't both survive World War II only to be taken down by some rusty pile of... The captain stopped himself suddenly. He had seen countless allies fall in the field of battle over his years in service, so he knew a fatal wound when he saw one. Magneto wouldn't last much longer. Do not fret, Captain, Magneto said, a strangely reassuring tone in his voice. I have died many times before, and this won't be the last. As the light faded from Magneto's eyes, Captain America paused a moment to wonder what his fellow soldier was talking about. Little did he know that the mutants of Krakoa had unlocked a secret that had changed everything. The secret to eternal life. At the dawn of the X-Men, Charles Xavier used a device known as Cerebro to locate and contact other mutants scattered across the globe. What started as a simple tool soon evolved into the most important piece of technology in mutant kind's arsenal. Not only could Cerebro identify and track mutants, it could also store their complete genetic profiles and even their memories. This valuable data was put to good use when mutants settled on the living island of Krakoa. Thanks to the combined efforts of a small group of X-Men with specialized powers, if any of their fellow mutants met their demise, a perfectly cloned body could be grown in Krakoa's hatchery. Once that body was deemed viable, it could be implanted with the memories stored in Cerebro, completing the resurrection protocols. For all intents and purposes, mutant kind had become immortal. But as Magneto's lifeless body lay on the field of battle, Captain America had no way of knowing this truth, nor did he know another secret. A secret that Charles Xavier himself had never dared to reveal, not even to Magneto. As powerful as Cerebro was, it was merely a machine. It was not inherently capable of distinguishing whether the information stored within it belonged to mutants or other life forms. To Cerebro, everything was just data, and with the correct programming and formatting, that data could be applied to the very same processes the mutants had pioneered. In essence, anyone could be resurrected. Anyone or anything. It was a secret that both man and mutant alike would learn soon enough, in the most unexpected and frightening way possible. So that's that one, Regenesis. We're almost through. We have a few more. This one is A Lesser Evil. Fun fact, the mutants built themselves a resurrection machine and didn't bother to tell anyone. They didn't tell nobody about that. Not so fun fact, Ultron managed to hack into Cerebro's resurrection protocols and brought himself back from the dead after he stopped his invasion of Krakoa. To make matters worse, that mechanical maniac stole Cerebro and jetted off to the mutant planet Arakko. That's Mars to you and me. So he can reboot his plans for total universal domination. Not exactly what I'd call a win. So you're probably asking, Tony, what do we do about Ultron? Or maybe we should call him Extron now. And my answer is simple. We turn him against himself. See, the reason Ultron was able to outsmart all of us, including me, one of the most brilliant minds on the planet, is because none of us has his level of pure processing power. He's always a million steps ahead, considering every eventuality. So if we want to take him down, if we want to actually take him down, we're going to need someone on our side who can think as fast as he does. And let me tell you, there aren't a whole lot of options out there. But fate might actually be on our side for once. When the X-Men terminated Ultron's functions, he abandoned his original form for something better, right? That means he left behind a lifeless but extremely advanced mechanical shell. I considered linking up to Ultron's discarded body and controlling it remotely, but that isn't what we need. That would essentially be just another guy in a suit, and we've already got the best one of those there is yet. He said, we already got the best one of those there is. Next, I thought of downloading Friday into Ultron's husk and letting her take it for a spin. But if something went wrong and he managed to corrupt her systems, all of Stark Industries' secrets would be his to use. And I've got a feeling he'd use them against us. So that left me with one choice: rebooting the original Ultron and hoping for the best. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Yeah, that's what Reed told me. And T'Challa and Peter and pretty much everyone else. But don't worry, I'm not completely reckless. I'll be putting safeguards in place, and they should hold for a while. That means until Ultron can figure out how to override them, he'll be on our side, mostly. But so we probably better make the best of whatever time we have. Who knows? Maybe we'll see his other, more evolved self as a threat to his prime directive and try to wipe out the competition. That'd be swell. And if he happens to identify and eliminate all other and if he happens to identify and eliminate any other potential problems along the way, like, say, that other guy in the metal mask who seems weirdly focused on getting his hands on Krakoa's supply of chronovium, then even better. Sure, this could all backfire completely and horribly, and we could end up Ultron's techno-organic slaves, but have you got any better ideas? Didn't think so. So, step aside. Tony Stark's got some work to do. Alright, we're reading Queen's Gambit now. I am Krakoa. I have not experienced silence like this in ages, since before the days my fellow mutants decide to call my shores home. Yet, mere hours ago, The sounds of war echoed across my verdant landscape louder than thunder. Tonight, my terrain erupted into chaos as the X-Men and their allies found themselves locked in battle against an invading force of automated assailants. When the battle ended, Ultron had stolen my people's technology and departed for Arakko, my counterpart on the planet once called Mars. If I were able, I would rush to Arakko's aid, but I am bound to this world, only able to watch as those who remain scary to my most secluded corners to plan their next moves. At the moment, my attention is on the Grove, the chamber of the Krakoan Quiet Council. Usually there are 12 members of this ruling body who convene to make the most critical decisions for the future of mankind. However, only one of its delegates has currently chosen to enter these hallowed ground, Emmerfrost. Normally, any discussions here are held in absolute privacy, open to mutants only, but tonight an outsider has been summoned. The man known as Victor Von Doom. His presence at the Hellfire Gala seemed to raise concerns from many of my citizens, but the fact that he stands here now, in this most sacred of places, is disturbing, to say the least. Yet perhaps Emma's heart is in the right place for us. To a telepath like her, it is no secret I have been suffering. When I traveled through the time stream to this era, my landmass absorbed large amounts of chronal energy, poisoning my once lush landscape. From what I can discern, Emma truly believes that Doom's unique skills in the area of science could help to extract that excess energy and cure me from my ailment. In return, Emma has asked Doom to assist my people in defending the newly upgraded Ultron, a reclaiming Cerebro. It is my allegiance that, on the surface, seems like a win for all mutants. So why is this deal being made in secrecy, without the approval of the rest of the council? Because Emma knows they would never approve, even though this future version of Doom is not the same from the timeline we once called home. The likelihood that he has mutankind's best interests in mind is slim. Doom only serves himself, and no matter how good Emma's intentions may be, it is likely that her new ally has already devised a plan to betray her and steer the situation into his own advantage. He could seize enough power to save us all, or to wipe out any possible opposition from his foe. Not just Ultron, but also mutants, and any others who might rise against him and resist his rule. All I can do is watch as my fate is being decided, and the silence has never been more deafening. Okay, that's that one. We have next, Ex Machina. Being one of the most elite marksmen alive means I've been on my fair share of insanely dangerous missions. But I'm telling the truth when I say that your pal Hawkeye has never been on one like this. Ultron, or Extron, as we're apparently calling him now, has infected all of Mars, or Arakko, as our mutants friends call it, with some sort of fancy technovirus. Normally, we storm the place to put an end to his plans. But during the fight, he managed to infect a bunch of us too, including yours truly. And let me tell you, hearing that chrome-plated creep chattering away in my head nonstop is no fun at all. But at least I was ready for something like this. See, not long ago, I rescued the Winter Soldier from a super-secret Hydra base. Those jerks had done a bunch of experiments on Bucky. They left him with some sort of weird tentacles where his bionic arm should have been. It was a whole thing. And it was gross. I mean, but the point is, it also left him with an outer god called the Hive whispering in the back of his brain, beckoning him to the dark side. Bucky told me that he manages to keep the voices in his head at bay thanks to a bunch of mental exercise he learned over the years. Hardcore psychic reconditioning kind of stuff, that type of thing. And while I figured I'd probably never have to use those tricks myself, we had a lot of downtime when we were hanging out in the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. He says it like just casual. We were just hanging out in the intergalactic empire of Wakanda like casual. You know what I'm saying? After Cap rescued us and swept us off to the future. This stuff sounds crazy when I say it out loud. Anyway, long story short, Bucky taught me new ways to focus my thoughts in order to push away anyone else who might try to control them. And it seems like I'm not the only one with mind tricks up their sleeves. Iron Fist is all about focus, and so far that chi of his seems to be uncorrupted. And I'm guessing Magneto has some sort of psychic barriers in his fancy mutant brain. Between the three of us, I think we can finish this mission before Extron finishes his. Linlai and I will have to clear a path through an endless swarm of mechanical misfits in order to get Magneto close enough to take back Cerebro. He's been saving up every last ounce of his magnetic might to rip that giant gizmo right off Extron's ugly noggin. Then, if Maggie's got any juice left to spare, maybe he can reshape Cerebro into something new to help us put an end to that synthetic sleazebag once and for all. After the enemy's been sent to the scrap heap, hopefully we can undo all the damage he's caused, to Arakko and to my allies. And even if we erase Extron from existence, I've got a feeling none of us will ever be the same after this. Which is how he talks, man. But yeah, that's that one. And then we have this one that's next, which is called Everyone Has Secrets. Doom betrayed everyone. What a surprise. To be fair, the probability of that occurring was 99.9973%. So anyone who expected otherwise was either malfunctioning, a total fool, or blinded by hope. For Emma Frost, I assume it was the latter. She had summoned Doom to her Hellfire Gala with the best of intentions, hopeful that he could be convinced to use his unique skill set to extract harmful chronal energy from the living island of Krakoa. Obviously, Doom took little convincing. He happily obliged, knowing full well that the raw energy would grant him nearly unlimited power to reshape the deeply damaged time stream as he saw fit. His first act was to erase Extron from existence, an effort that he boasted he had begun even before he came to Krakoa. As expected, Doom did not stop after defeating our mutual enemy. Instead, he turned his newfound might against his hosts, those human heroes who joined the resistance to overthrow his rule, along with their naively dedicated mutant allies. He now had the power to wipe out any who might stand between him and his goals, and he intended to use it. But as always, Doom made a critical error. After Extron was reborn, his previous physical form was abandoned until Tony Stark revived and reprogrammed its firewall to fight against its other self. At that moment, Ultron's timeline diverged, and Doom only bothered to erase one of those two paths. He left me, the original Ultron, alive. Oh wait, Ultron's speaking. I didn't even notice that. I didn't think I would have talked like that if I knew that Ultron was speaking. Let me know that Ultron. Okay, sorry. And I vowed that he would regret it. Now, knowing that Doom was the one who had originally attempted to remove me from reality, I activated another prime directive, revenge. Before eradicating all of humanity, Victor Von Doom, this fleshling, warranted special punishment for his actions against me. As retribution, I would turn him into the very thing he had tried to destroy. How I love irony. As my unlikely allies drew Doom's attention, I used the distraction to pierce through his armor and infect him with my techno-organic virus. After all was not as it seemed. But all was not as it seemed. Instead, Doom's metal shell was not a body made of flesh and blood as I anticipated, but one made of wires and circuits. The Lord of Latveria had sent one of his loyal Doombots to Krakoa instead, sacrificing it in order to keep himself a safe distance from harm. The coward! The coward. As the Doombot ceased to function, Doom's own words rang through his speakers. He claimed that everything he had seen in his vision of the future had come to pass, even with all the power he had stolen. He was unable to change the timeline after all. In fact, his very foresight was the first domino that set all of this in motion. He underestimated the mischievous nature of time itself. I will admit, I took great satisfaction in knowing that Doom had been humbled, but that satisfaction soon faded as the chilling truth set in. None of us had the ability to control what was yet to come, and all we could do was fight to make sure that the next crisis we faced would be the final. Yeah, and with that, we have the last one. From the Ashes. So it's over then? Spider-Man said cautiously. The Gala, Emma Frost replied. No, darling. The event has just begun. Don't think he was talking about your party, Emma, Wolverine responded dryly. Not sure any of us are in the mood to dance after all that. I'm always in the Star-Lord. I'm always in the mood to dance, Star-Lord quipped as he kicked the head of one broken Ultron drone into the peaceful waters beyond Krakoa's shoreline. One thing I wanted One thing I want to dance on is Ultron's grave, Cloak said sternly. I don't know that I said it sternly right there, though. I find that remark quite displeasing. Ultron's cold, metallic voice resonated with an ominous warning. He didn't mean you, Dagger quickly. I can't speak, I'm sorry. He didn't mean you, Dagger quickly added as she swapped spots with her partner. He meant that other Ultron, the one who caused this mess. Yeah, Iron Man continued, placing his armored hand on Ultron's shoulder. You're one of us now, buddy. I hope. Then perhaps he can assist us in repairing the damage that his mechanical brethren did to this island, Salak said, surveying the destruction around her. Krakoa has seen better days, Storm agreed before turning her gaze towards the night sky. Arakko has as well. They will both recover soon enough, Magneto said, and they will continue to evolve. I am Groot, Groot said, gesturing towards the stars. My friend says that if you need someone to keep an eye on Arakko for you as it heals, the Guardians of the Galaxy would be glad to help, Mantis translated. Protecting planets is kind of our thing. Oh, wait, he didn't talk like that. Protecting planets is kind of our thing, Rocket added. Plus, I've been looking for an excuse to get off your miserable mudball. I may have just the excuse you are seeking, Adam Warlock said, stepping forward unsteadily, his hand against his temple. So many people were talking that I can't develop all of these voices at once. What's wrong, Adam? Captain America asked, deep concern in his voice. I can feel him in my mind, Warlock continued. The darkness has returned. Who can make a golden god such as yourself tremble in fear? Oh, that's Loki. Who can make a golden god such as yourself tremble in fear? Loki said curiously. Only one answer, Venom replied. No. I sense him as well, Black Panther added. I must make sure Bast is safe. Knull rises again, Hela said with a smirk. Impressive. Oh, she likes that. Don't go getting any ideas, milady, Loki sneered. Wait, Hawkeye said. I thought we destroyed Knull with his own essence or something, didn't we? Guess that codex wasn't a permanent solution, the Winter Soldier responded. Not only did he manage to survive, Mr. Fantastic said, examining a scanning device in his hand. He's growing stronger. Stars are being snuffed out as we speak. We faced eternal night before and won, Human Torch said. We got this. Easy to say, matchstick, Thing retorted. But this ain't Dracula. This is the actual god of darkness we're talking about here. I don't know. Ben's right, his Visible Woman added. How are we supposed to confront one of the primal forces of the universe? Why are so many people talking at once, bro? I can't with this. Perhaps by calling on one of them ourselves, Susan, my dear. Namor responded, looking towards the stars. You better not be saying my dear. That's not it, bro. I only pray they're listening, Adam Warlock said. Or we're all doomed. No pun intended. Well, that's cool. I like how they always tease the next thing after that. They always tease what's in the next season at the end of it. So if you want to know what the next season is probably going to be about, they're going to tease it. They're going to tease it. Anyway, that's it for this video. That was the Hellfire Gala stuff. I'm starting to do these in one more free form, and also in like I've done with some other videos lately, and also do it in just kind of just doing more of these type of videos where I just want to put the whole thing in there. So I want to read them all at once and kind of get them out of the way, you know what I mean? Not do 20 different parts. So yeah, next time, since we've been behind a little bit, next time we're going to get into the season 3, The Abyss Awakens lore. So yeah, this was the one with Knull in it. I never read these ones. I haven't read them since Eternal Night Falls, so it's a lot of cool stuff. I don't know what's happening with the story, but I think I'm getting it. That being said, I hope you liked the video. If you did, leave a like, dislike if you didn't. Comment down below what you think, you know what I'm saying. And if you want to watch more videos from me, there is more of these lore reads somewhere on the channel. Probably a playlist in the description down below. You can probably see it. I do lore reads on this channel, and I like to do them a lot. So if you like that, stay tuned, because I'm going to start doing a lot more of those, and other stuff too, when I feel like it. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and watch the video that's on the screen right now. I bet you it's a banger. A banger. Let's go.